I do want to bring in Dr. Tre Pennie. He was with the Dallas Police Department as a sergeant there for more than 20 years. He's also running for Congress in the district where this happened. He joins us live to talk more about all of this. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So first off, your thoughts as you heard all of this unfolding there.
I'm heartbroken. I simply cannot imagine that we have shooters running around in full body armor, attacking people, just randomly attacking people. And thank God that we did have a police officer in the area that was able to respond and take the shooter out. But the reality is, there's a likelihood for this to happen a lot more. I know that we have not released any information about this person's mental stability, but I would like to know anyone that would go out and randomly shoot people, shoot and kill kids at that, there has to be something unstable about them. And I would like to see what are the pre-attack behaviors, what were the pre-attack behaviors. Once we get into his social media accounts and find out whether or not he was radicalized online by something, or what did he specifically hope to accomplish by going to attack the people. That information is going to be useful for helping us devise appropriate policies going forward. I think that we have to do more in terms of mitigating these risks. And right now today, we have a lot more people with mental health issues that are running around with guns. If a person has been committed and they get out, the next day they decide to go buy a gun, there's nothing preventing that person from going to get that gun because those systems don't talk. So if you think about it from a law enforcement perspective, we're walking into some of the most dangerous situations without knowing what we're dealing with, especially when you have people in full body armor. A lot of officers just have bulletproof vests, but when the shooter comes in, they have full body armor. That means the officer has to be accurate and on target. He got to go for headshots every time, and that's a very hard shot to make. So I mean, I thank God that this officer, this hero, was able to take this suspect out. But guys, we got some real policy issues that we need to work on in DC and going forward in order to keep our community safe.
How hard is it as an officer, I know you were a sergeant there, to do something like this, to run toward gunfire and take out a suspect? I imagine you have to think very quickly and act in that moment. What is that like?
Yeah, I mean, look, the Dallas Police Department, I would say all the police agencies in this area, they train extremely well. I think T. Cole has done a good job of making sure that all officers have the appropriate training, but specifically up here in North Texas, we don't play around. Look, I got the call at like 3:35. I was at the Galleria with my wife when the call came in. A friend of mine who's a police officer in another city called me and told me that his daughter was bunkered down in a pretzel shop with about 10 people, and he could hear the gunshots on the line. And when I get the call, I'm off duty. I grab my gun and I'm heading over there because we just don't know what this is. And you saw that around Dallas-Fort Worth. You saw multiple police agencies coming in from different areas trying to get up there so they can help. That's the way we're trained. Any of us would put our lives on the line to protect anyone. I didn't think twice about running over there and potentially taking a chance of getting shot myself because I want to protect my community. I want to protect people, and we cannot allow our kids to get killed. We've had enough of that. Enough is enough. Not in my backyard. It's not going to happen. Guys, we can't continue to ignore this problem as if it doesn't exist. This is a real problem, and it exists. Real people are dying. These are real lives. I'm not going to allow, not on my watch, I'm not going to sit by and allow kids to continually get killed and do nothing. And I think all of our politicians, all of our leaders, we have to be cognizant of these issues, and we have to be willing to do what's right to make sure we are protecting the American people.
This officer, of course, being referred to as a hero, what are your thoughts on that? I know, of course, you referred to him as a hero as well.
Yeah, he's a hero. He ran in. He was at a whole nother call. Jumped off of that call, heard the call come in, jumped off that call, went over there to respond, and took the suspect out. I can tell you that doesn't happen very often. We've seen in situations like Uvalde, I think that was probably where the biggest criticism was for law enforcement here in Texas. Look, we train up here. and our officers are prepared to respond, and we're gonna put our lives on the line to do everything we can to protect people. And I encourage. See, that's one of the reasons why I think having these new open carry laws are important, because if more people had guns that could have responded at that moment, we could have taken this guy out. But thank God that this officer was able to get there in a timely manner. Unfortunately, we lost 8 people during this tragic situation, but it could have been more had he not taken them out.
What do you think about the flow of information? We know that there's been 2 press conferences held so far with Allen Police and Allen Fire, and they also had some lawmakers and other officials that were there for the second news conference last night. What are your thoughts on the way that information is flowing out?
It's terrible. It's terrible. Look, let me tell you something. The way that information flows now, we have to be willing and we have to be able, from a law enforcement perspective, to keep up with social media. If we don't keep up, we allow narratives, nefarious narratives, to run on their own, because people are creating their own news with social media. We simply can't allow that. Now, I don't know what specifically Allen PD is doing, and I'm very, very good friends with the chief over there. I know him really well, and I know for whatever reason they want to protect the investigation. But the problem with protecting the investigation is that you're allowing a whole lot of narratives online that may not necessarily be true. That are, and it's really dangerous for society, because that could potentially be radicalizing someone else to carry out the same act. So we need to get that information out in front of the public so the public can know how to appropriately respond. If their goal was to go to the mall today, and we know that there's some kind of online trend being promoted where they're saying, hey, we're gonna in threes we're gonna attack malls, then the American people need to know that so they can know not to go to the mall that day. Does that make sense? I hope it does.
What are your thoughts on using the suspect's name? That's a question that I always ask folks when they come on here, especially if they were with law enforcement at one point. How do you feel about that suspect's name being out there and information about them?
Look, I don't think I can tell you that we used to, the way things were, we didn't want to glorify the suspect by using their name. But I don't think that, look, either way, the name is the name. It doesn't change the act. And I think that information just needs to be given out, because that information, whether we release the name or not, somebody online know about it, and they're going to release the name. So we got to be smart. We can't keep operating in these echo chambers and thinking that we're tricking the American people or something. That doesn't work anymore. Now social media is that force continuum that's changing everything. That's the one dynamic that America has not been able to deal with, and we just have to find a way to get ahead of it. And I will tell you this, that because of social media, we have to develop policy where these companies are required to work with law enforcement. We have to do that, because we cannot have false information circulating online. And believe me, there's a lot of it right now. I had to go through several articles to try to figure out what was going on before I knew what it was. I mean, that is so dangerous in this day and age.
Allen Police, of course, as we mentioned, a smaller organization. They're probably not used to dealing with situations even close to this magnitude here. What role do you think that plays in this investigation?
Well, look, I think Allen is definitely prepared. The good thing about it is that we have these mutual aid agreements, the memorandums of understanding with McKinney PD, Dallas PD, Plano PD, and all those agencies responded. So I think it's essentially every agency is going to go through their learning curves with dealing with these type of crises if they never had it before. But the good thing about it is that you get expertise from the surrounding cities that could come in and support. And I think that they did a great job with the relief effort and getting everyone out and keeping everyone safe. Look, my hat's off to these guys. The only thing I would only encourage is get some information out, because you have a lot of false narratives that are running on social media right now, and we got to really get a hold of it.
All right, Dr. Tre Pennie, thank you so much for taking the time here to join us. Is there anything you want to add about all of this before I let you go?
Yeah, I would like to say that we traditionally have, whenever these situations happen, we say our thoughts and prayers are with the families, and you know, we want to continue to send prayers and thoughts to our families, to the families impacted by these tragedies. But we also have to remember that faith and prayers without action is dead. We have to remember that we have to do something in order to make these situations better for the American society. So we have to do more. I mean, guys, we cannot continue to talk in these echo chambers and not do anything to make these communities safer and to get violent criminals and violent offenders off our streets.
All right. Thank you again for taking the time to join us here.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.